Let's go. Let's go.
All right, good morning. I want to say, first off this morning, a big shout out to Legacy Card Traders, a local family-run trading card company that absolutely loves the hobby. They might even be borderline, I wouldn't even say borderline. They're obsessed with it. They just love what they do. Check them out on Facebook. Also, shout out this morning to Montpelier Volkswagen and Montpelier Mazda. Yeah, where the rates right now, 0% APR financing for up to 60 months, 1.9% for 72 months on the 24 Tiguan, which is a gorgeous vehicle. I don't know if you've seen the pictures on Facebook that I've been posting up about these, but yeah, huge savings is what it all adds up to. I hope you're doing just fine on this new day. Yesterday, it started out by saying, I don't know. I don't know how much water I should be drinking every day. And I got some great comments about that, and I did a little bit of Googling last night. Paul Brody is with me this morning, and I was just saying to you just a minute ago that
say a lot of things to me.
Pure coincidence.
I'm looking at Legacy Card Traders because you told me to on Facebook.
Cool? Aren't they cool?
Yeah,
It's a really cool thing. Yeah,
I got a couple of baseball cards last year. I haven't collected baseball cards since I was, 13 or something like that. But last year I got a couple of Mets players that I didn't have cards for since I stopped collecting a long time ago.
Yeah,
I used to have a lot of massive collection of cards and comics.
Yeah.
And then in high school, one of my moments I regret, even though I try not to have regrets, I sold them to a local shop for pennies.
Oh,
but it was just one of those things where I was 17, driving around. We wanted money to go to McDonald's or some stupid thing, skip school and drive up to Burlington. And, oh, man. Like, jeez, this is like 1997 or something.
I had these guys on the air
probably thousands of dollars.
I'm sure.
And I gave it away for $30.
I'm sure.
Oh, so embarrassing.
These guys were
Why'd you bring it up, JD? I can't talk to you anymore.
I know.
I have to leave.
Get out of here.
Oh, it's too painful.
These guys were just on the air with me not too long ago, and what they're doing here in Central Vermont is unbelievable. Check them out. Cool. Yesterday I was talking about water consumption.
Yeah.
Some of us say, well, in the new year, one of my resolutions, for lack of a better term, and I know you and I have talked about this greatly, resolutions, and is to drink more water. How much water do we drink? Do we put anything in the water, and are we getting our electrolytes?
Don't worry about putting things in the water. The government's doing plenty of that for you.
Oh, here we go.
It's not what you put into the water. It's what you take out of the water that's important.
But, I was just saying to you, just out of coincidence, just over the last, week or so, I've just, for no reason, I've just kind of stopped drinking coffee. Just no reason at all. I'm just busy for whatever reason. I'm just out of the house. And
follow your body.
Yeah. And I'm feeling it in the morning. I'm a little...
What are you feeling?
Well, a little foggy.
Yeah.
Not connected as quickly head to tongue connection.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what happens when you wake up? You stop sleeping.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
Cortisol is one of these hormones that plays into the waking up process, and caffeine will take the place of cortisol in a caffeine dependence situation. So if you're drinking coffee, I think the recommendation is wait at least 2 hours after you wake up before you have caffeine. Otherwise, it can interfere with that natural wake-up process.
Oh.
So if you're drinking coffee first thing in the morning, then you're likely creating a situation of caffeine dependence. Even if you're not drinking like massive coffee all day long, constantly or anything, it's more about the timing. I mean, there's probably more to it. I'm not a nutritionist, so do your research and stuff like that. But there's that the timing of when you first consume caffeine during the day can impact your waking up process. So if you
Wow.
stop drinking, then you're likely going through caffeine withdrawals or possibly going through caffeine withdrawals, and it'll take a little while for your body to adjust. But because what happens is you're essentially outsourcing. It's the same thing with opiate dependence and all these, any kind of dependence, right? You're outsourcing the function of an internal chemical to an external source, and so the body is all about conserving energy. It's going to stop producing that product because you're outsourcing it, and then once you stop outsourcing it, now there's a dearth. Yeah, there's a lack of it, so it needs to rebuild it or restore it, but it might take some time. So the brain fog or whatever you're experiencing might be that. It's just you feel groggy because your body's used to having that. Well, you've superseded the natural course.
Yeah.
So you're doing a good thing for yourself in that regard.
Well, it doesn't feel like.
No, it doesn't. And a lot of times when we stop an unhealthy thing, it takes some time. The pain is often in the recovery, like the healing process hurts. You ever get a cut, and then when it's healing, it itches. Yeah. This is the healing process.
Okay.
And so it's a good thing for you.
But we've heard so much that coffee's good for you. You know,
elements of it are right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I grew up Mormon, and the Mormons prohibit coffee use as part of the law of health that Joseph Smith established. Now, I have an entirely different opinion of that stuff now, having left that belief system.
Yes.
And by my research, it seems that so there was some kind of like Journal of Health or something, some article, some magazine from 1805 or whatever, some periodical from that time, where someone had written up this method to be healthy, and it proscribed is the opposite of prescribed. Prescribed means you should do this. Proscribed means don't do this. But it proscribes coffee, tea, and alcohol, and that's part of those are the three of the main components of what Joseph Smith said he received as a revelation from God. Not trying to ditch or badmouth or anything, but I have a little bit of a bias against this from my life experience, so forgive me if you don't like the way I'm presenting this. But my opinion now is that he was influenced by that article. His parents probably raised him up with that belief, and he put it into God's law when he created this church. But anyway, so I grew up with no coffee, so it's not a thing for me. I've tried it since leaving the church. What is this? What is the hype? I don't like it. Yeah. The caffeine is not pleasant, which is interesting because I've had caffeinated sodas, and some people believe that Mormons don't drink caffeine. Well, it's not the caffeine. It's just God said don't. If you believe that. Yeah. This guy's a prophet, and he says God said do not drink coffee. Well, you don't drink coffee. It's not. If he said do not drink water, you wouldn't drink water. So it's nothing to do with the content of what's in it. It's just the item itself. But anyway, so
that's fascinating.
So I grew up believing that coffee's bad for you. Why? Because God said so. And then you see these stories that say, there's tannic acid and there's these things, and we would justify that as if our faith wasn't enough. We go, see, that's why Joseph. It proves that he's a prophet because he was told not to do it, and here's the proof why. And then, but it's not. You don't need that proof if you're honestly believing it because God said don't do it, then don't do it. But
I'll tell you right now, even Cheryl was like, Jesus, you look like hell. And I'm like, it's probably.
And you said, what's the difference?
A cup of coffee.
What's the difference? I always do. That's what you should say.
This is true.
What's standing out?
And I might jump right back into it tomorrow morning head first. I'd love coffee. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
Well, just drink it 2 hours after. If you want to get rid of the brain fog and stuff like that, stay what you're doing. Take a week off from it, at least 7 days off, and then introduce it again, but wait 2 hours after you wake up.
All right. That's good enough. We're getting some comments this morning on this amazing couch that you're sitting on.
It is fantastic.
Do you love it?
I love it.
You don't know anything.
I don't know anything about it. I saw it on yesterday on the show, and I know nothing else about it except for now I'm sitting on it, and it's almost as comfortable as it looks.
Yeah.
It only has a few mysterious stains.
Please don't bring up the stains. That's a whole nother story. Tomorrow on the G Spot, we're going to. Sorry. We're going to be talking about this amazing couch and the story behind it, so you'll have to tune in to hear.
I will. I'll try.
I'm not going to tell you today.
I have an appointment tomorrow at 9, but
anyway, it's going to be fun tomorrow morning. G-Spot right here on Aired Out. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies today, low teens. Tonight, 9 degrees and partly cloudy. Thursday, 19, partly cloudy. Friday, 22 and partly sunny. Saturday, the weekend, slight chance of snow on Saturday around 24. And Sunday, 26 and cloudy. So A little bit of a snap right now. I don't think any of us really should be surprised. I mean, after all, my God, it's January 8th. It's cold up here in the North Country. I think it was like 2-3 degrees or so when I woke up this morning at my house, and it's like hovering right around, 6 or 7, maybe 8 degrees right now. It's cold. It is cold. Good morning, Zach and Catherine and G, and good morning, guys. Good morning. We hope you're doing well. And Glenn and Donna Thunder, who I want to mention, Maura is going to be coming on the air with me real soon, Donna, because of what I saw that you had posted. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have in the news, we're going to be talking about Wellness Wednesday here in just a little bit. We're also going to be talking about the relationship, the connection between alcohol and cancer this morning, which, as you probably know, the Surgeon General this has been all over the news. And we're going to get into that in just a little bit. Big story locally is, and there's just not, a whole hell of a lot of stuff that's going on. But locally, the story out of Montpelier that on Main Street, there was a report that was called into the police of a stabbing, I think yesterday in Montpelier. Police responded and found no such thing. So it was a hoax. There was not a stabbing in Montpelier, and police are trying to find out more information and trying to find out who this individual was that called this in yesterday. Other than that, I see there's a tractor trailer that overturned over in Charlotte. Lots of drunk driving reports that are coming up everywhere. I'm just seeing almost daily. And that's it. So, cabinet choices going on under the Golden Dome in Montpelier. I mean, it's just, what else? I don't really think there's really anything else that's big in the news. Let's talk about Wellness Wednesday from Washington County Mental Health. It is today. Today's Wednesday, right, Paul? Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people are so excited for the return. This is going to be the first 3 Wednesdays of every month, right on, I think, until like April. So come out, relax, enjoy this. Balin is going to be there.
Go get well.
Go get well, man.
Go see
and
Balin.
it's free.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah. There's no reason not to.
Right at the Well Space Building, 23 Summer Street. But they've got it all. Reiki, myofascial body release. They have chair and table massage, ear acupuncture, mindfulness meditation. Parking is free. Everything is. Leave your wallet at home. Just park upstairs if you
park upstairs.
Well, it's on the upper lot.
Oh,
the upper lot, because all of this is, most of this is going on upstairs.
Okay.
At the Well Space.
I didn't know
building.
there was a upper lot over there.
Yep. Because they're still doing things down on the first floor
Cool.
as a result of the flood. Now listen, if you need help getting into the building, if you have a wheelchair or whatever, that's no problem. Just give them a call ahead when you're making an appointment, 479-4055, and they'll bring you in if you need some special access from a mobility standpoint. They'll bring you in right through the front entrance. So 479-4055, 4:30 this afternoon is when it starts. Goes till 7 o'clock.
There's so much benefit from doing those physical interventions, the different kinds of massage and acupuncture, acupressure, all these things. The body holds so much tension, and all that is energy.
You don't realize it.
No, and it builds up, and then it creates other issues, inflammation, tension, inflammation, all these things. And having the actual physical intervention of someone pressing or putting needles or massage on these points in your body releases that, and you can find an incredible relief even from one session of these things. It's amazing. So if you have not done it, do it. Try it out. It's free.
You know me very well.
I know you.
You know that I'm kind of naturally a skeptic about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And I went in there, and sat down with Balin. It was when I met Balin, and I went to Wellness Wednesday. Had a pounding headache. I don't know if it was classified as a migraine or not, but it was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of these.
Right.
You know, and I was just like, oh, man. Frankly, I just wanted to go home. And I went in there, and he's so calm, and, you know, he's like, all right, where's your headache? You know, show me where it is. Temple. Yep. I think it was in the back, actually, now that I remember. This was a couple of years ago. And he's like, do you mind if I just, do something? And I'm like, I don't care if you drive a hot sword through my gut. If you can get rid of this, I would be grateful. And he was like, puts this little thing on my ear. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell is this all? What's going on here? And he's like, can you feel that? And I'm like, not really. And he's like, give it a little while. And I was like, yeah, but... And he's just like, just shut up. But he didn't say shut up.
No, of course not.
Have a sip of tea. Sit over here. Just be quiet for a little while. 10 minutes, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Gone.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Gone. And I was like, what the hell are you doing, bro? What's this magic?
This voodoo,
with this voodoo shit. What's happening? I mean, it's really fascinating.
It is.
It really is.
This has been studied for thousands of years. All of this, all these pressure points, the energy meridians and stuff like that. This isn't somebody didn't just make it up. It's all studied. Yeah. It's studied and proven thousands of years. Just because Western medicine doesn't want to adopt it doesn't mean it's not legitimate.
I know.
This is real stuff. It works.
Amazing. It's really incredible.
So I finally got back into doing Qigong exercises daily. 2 days before Christmas, I started again. I've been off and on with that, and I hadn't done it for a long time. And I finally started doing it again. So I have problems sleeping. I'll fall asleep. I'll sleep 4 or 5 hours, and then I'm awake, and I'm kind of like just in and out of sleep for another 2 hours or 3 hours until I get out of bed. And so I started doing a nightly routine for Qigong. Okay. And I've done that every night now since the Monday before Christmas, so it's 2 weeks. And after 3 or 4 days, I started sleeping better. I had a night where I slept 6 or 7 hours straight. It's the first time in a long time I've slept straight through like that. It's amazing. And it's, in each of the points in this routine, it's I forget the names, feng shui, I think, and like the amyan, and there's the points at the back of the skull, and there's 2 points back here, and then on the temple essentially, and then the heart 7, I think, point here, and then I don't know, I forget what the names. They're Chinese names. I don't know.
Was
Chinese,
this the book? Was this about the book that? What was the book that you brought in last?
It was the 7 Healing Chakras.
Is this related to?
I mean, it's all the same stuff, but it's different. But there's a Jeffrey Chand on YouTube. I think his channel is called Community, like Qigong Community, and so he does Qigong routines and explains the points and explains why and has different themes for each routine and stuff. But I do it every night, and it's supposed to be calming and help you sleep better, and it does.
It's fascinating.
You got to try it out, but you got to commit to it. You got to put some effort into it. I mean, you're going to feel benefit. Like you had benefit from essentially one session of acupuncture. You had a benefit from it.
Sure.
And so you can have benefit from these things, and that's what I'm saying. Go try it out. Try these different types of massage and these things, because it can relieve and give you relief right away. But it's the practice of them, ongoing practice of them, because we have these energy blockages, and you might have initial release of letting some of that energy go, and so it releases the tension, but it's only a percentage of what's really there.
Okay.
And so the daily practice helps to drain it all out. So if you got, I was just reading this yesterday. I don't remember where I was reading it, so I can't attribute it. But you got a cup of water, and if it's too much, there's pressure, right? And so you let off some of that. You drain some of it out, and it's less pressure. You drain some more out, it's less pressure. And you drain it all out, so there's a constant flow. So you don't have any stagnant water in there.
Wow.
Just let it keep flowing. And I think I remember where I read it. There's someone else that's got to be on their show sometime. I'll talk to them and see if they'd be willing to.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Talk about all this kind of stuff. Brilliant. There's a lot of really awesome practitioners. This is what I want to do. I want to create a nonprofit. We've been talking about this. I've told you a little bit about this, but this is my goal for this year. You're not supposed to talk about some of your goals sometimes, because they don't come true.
Are you letting the cat out of the bag
I'm gonna
right
put this out. I mean, this is something I want to personally do, but there's so many powerful healing practitioners in the air everywhere, and a lot of this the work that they do isn't covered by insurances, because again, our this medical model that we have that we're slaves to, or not slaves to, but we're captured into or whatever. I don't have a lot of positive regard for the system. I like a lot of practitioners, but the system, I don't even know how to say it, but like, I don't want to sound like an idiot. Too late. You're supposed to say too late. That's what we do here.
Give you the bell.
That's what we do. But this system doesn't allow for a lot of these things, and so we're all reliant on, we're dependent. That's the words I want to say. Okay, so we have the medical model, the Western medicine, whatever, and we're dependent on this model, and so it doesn't let other things in. There's other things throughout the world. There's all kinds of healing practices and methods, and a lot of them don't get added into the accepted medical model. And because we're so dependent on the system and the insurances and stuff like that, the insurances get to determine what kind of care you receive.
Yeah. Because
we're paying the insurance companies, and then they won't pay for the services.
Right.
So I'm paying for the insurance if I am, and I want certain coverage, and they say, well, we don't recognize that, so we're not going to pay for that.
Sure.
Well, then why do I have you? Yeah. Right. And so this whole thing, we're dependent on all these systems. I don't like it, but there's these practitioners that can offer healing, like true healing, not symptom relief. So many of the medicines and stuff are symptom relief.
Right.
And we want healing. We want to get to the root of it. Even with what I'm doing as an alcohol and drug counselor, addiction is the leaf.
Yes.
What's the root? So we're looking at the leaf of the tree. That's okay. So you got alcohol use or cocaine use or whatever. That's a symptom of what the underlying thing is. We want to get down in there and find out what that is. And so a lot of these, these Eastern traditions, the yoga and qigong and acupuncture, acupressure, and these different types of massage, these and Reiki, these are all energy focused, and they're going to get to the root of it. They're going to root it out. They're going to get down into it and heal you from the energy centers, from the soul out.
This is all, in my opinion, an example of our culture, of our society. We want a quick fix.
Right.
We don't have time to get to the root of shit.
Right. You didn't want to wait 10 minutes for your headache to go away.
Exactly. You stick a hot iron in me, and that's fine.
Well, you talk about 10 minutes. That wasn't fast enough for you.
No, but here's the thing.
I don't have time for this. You don't have 10 minutes? I don't have time for this.
We want to feel better quickly.
Yeah, immediately.
We want the symptoms to be gone so that we can just hurry up and continue to get on with our...
the next thing that causes more symptoms.
Right,
yeah.
of course. Right. Only to, the next day we wake up and this same shit is there. But to take our time and be patient and start at the beginning.
Yeah. One of my favorite sections of the Tao Te Ching is how do you clear muddy water?
Yeah.
So you got a puddle, and it's all stirred up with the silt, and it's all muddy. How do you clear it? What can you do to make that water clear again?
Becky's saying heal the whole body, not just the symptoms. Functional medicine treats whole body.
Yeah. Yeah. But you clear the water, you clear the puddle by letting it set. Letting it sit.
Yeah.
You don't do anything to it. Anything you do, you can test this. Go out, find a puddle. There's plenty of them out there, and stir it up.
Yeah.
And the water's murky and brown. You cannot make that water clear. Yeah. Nothing you can do. Any intervention. I mean, you can filter it and stuff, but you're intervening in a pretty intense way there. But just let it settle. In a couple minutes, the dirt settles back down to the bottom, and the water's clear again.
Yeah.
So a lot of our issues are the same way. You got to let that time to settle it.
What a great analogy.
So what I want to get to, that's the Tao Te Ching, is wisdom.
Damn.
It's brilliant stuff. Check it out. But what I want to get to is to create a foundation that's nonprofit, so it's donation provided, stuff like that. I don't know how to do any of this stuff, so I'm trying to figure it out. But and then that way, so essentially it replaces the insurance company. So the practitioners, because I'm a practitioner of this stuff in a way, but I can charge insurances for identified diagnoses. Substance use disorders are recognized, so I can charge insurances for those. I can bill insurances. But someone who's dealing with a lot of, or the method that I'm employing is covered by the insurance. I guess that's the way I should say it. But so a lot of these methods aren't covered by insurance, so who's going to pay for it? The people I got to pay out of pocket. A lot of people can't afford this stuff. It's expensive.
Right.
And that's a sad commentary. It's expensive to maintain our health.
Yeah.
And so if we had a resource that could then provide for that, I don't know how to build this. That's what I want to build. So put it out there. Maybe someone knows how to build that and help me out. But
is this something in 2025?
Yeah, I'd like to do it this year. And so I have some things that I think could be beneficial to support that. And so one of those is something that we can talk about later, because it's not.
Well, this is
it'll come up later.
Quite a concept.
I guess.
And you and I haven't had a chance to chat about this before we go hot on the mics. But are we? When are we letting the cat out of the bag about that special date?
I don't know. We could talk about. We could mention. I mean, well, because this is one of the things I want to do to try and build up this what I just mentioned. And so JD and I have talked about this, and we got a plan. But I think initially we're going to try and keep it low key, invitation only, to see how it works. Okay. And then so fourth, by the end of the month we'll have. I think that's when you can go all out and announce it and make it public. We're
being cryptic right now.
Just for the sake of being cryptic. Yeah. We're not. There's nothing going on. We're just playing a game right now.
Creating drama.
No, it's to want to create opportunities to provide more information to people and to provide access to services. Those are the two goals.
Right.
I've been using the phrase "imagine moving on." I took it out of a addiction book that I read years ago. It just really, I don't know. I really like that phrase.
That resonated with you.
The idea that we need to, or if you can't envision it, if you can't imagine it, then you're probably never going to achieve it. So you got to start there at least. And so I'm losing my ability to speak. So I registered the website. So I've imaginemovingon.com. I registered that like 8 years ago. I've done nothing with it really. But so Imagine Moving On is the thing I want to create. It's just to provide more, to get information to people, make these treatments, make these healing practices more accessible to everybody.
My buddy Mark Miller just started tuning in. He's got to go back and listen to the first half of this podcast, because this is, anyone who's just joining us really should go back and listen to this after it's live.
Or don't.
Or don't.
We're not going to tell anybody what they should do.
Well, no, I'm just saying if it would be, it's so.
There could be benefit.
But it's encompassing in a positive way to so many people. You know what I mean?
Anybody who has a body.
Anyone who's
if you don't have a body, then it might not be applicable to you. But if you have a body, then this kind of stuff is. I'm not the guy. I don't know these things, but I want to find. Some things, but I want to connect. I'm a student. I feel like I'm a low level student.
We're all students.
A lot of times I feel like I'm not prepared to do this yet because I don't know. I listen to Michael Singer. I think he's brilliant, and he's got 20 or 30 years on me in age. He's got more experience, and I think maybe I need to wait a little bit longer before I start doing this. But there's enough. I have enough that I can share that is not common, I guess, that it can inspire somebody, and so I don't need to wait. I don't think I need to wait. As long as I'm not giving false information or anything like that. I'm teaching what I've learned, and as soon as I've learned it, I've been practicing it. I think that it's useful to share. I don't want to wait, but I don't know, that's the balance I'm trying to strike. Is what where am I a legitimate voice to share these things yet, or do I need to wait? Do I need to study more and build up more? And so I guess I'm doing it all at the same time.
We're also networking with some really knowledgeable people, like Dr. Rick Barnett.
Right. Yeah, Rick is someone I think he's got it. He knows, but he might say the same thing I do. Like, I don't know it yet, but I'm working on it. But
sure,
that guy knows.
Yeah,
I think he knows.
He knows. And Balin. I mean, look at we've got a wealth of knowledge.
There's so many, and with what Rick is doing with the ketamine assisted therapy and stuff like that, and pushing the psychedelics, the acceptance of psychedelics, the research is there. It's supporting it, and the practice is there, and the ketamine assisted treatment is being used right now in Vermont. It's great, but again, cost prohibitive for a lot of people.
Right,
a friend of mine looked into it. One of the groups that's providing it in Central Vermont, and it was $900, and that's not just like one. It's like because you gotta get the prescription, you gotta do the intake, you gotta do a couple of sessions preparatory, and then you have the session with the ketamine, and so it's a over the course of a month or whatever. But so it's not that expensive.
Sure.
When you look at medical treatments, but $900 out of pocket for a couple of therapy sessions seems insane.
Sure.
When you don't have, when your insurance won't cover it, you don't have a lot of extra cash. So that's hard. And those are the kind of things that I think would be great if we can figure out a way to generate money through fundraising and then provide those things, because it's a very effective treatment.
Yeah.
According to the research.
I want to talk about alcohol this morning with you, and I don't know if this is purely coincidental, if there's any correlation between the new year and what's coming down the pipe in the news from the Surgeon General. But it is everywhere. everywhere
Yeah.
about alcohol. All of a sudden, we hit January, and of course, dry January.
Yeah.
And like I said on the podcast the other day, non-alcohol drinks are exploding in popularity now.
Mhm.
There's now non-alcoholic bars.
Mm.
Same kind of atmosphere, entertainment, people getting together, shooting pool, but there's no alcohol. But the drinks that they're concocting are fantastic.
Mm.
And this is I hate to say the word trending or a trend, but it is really, really popular with millennials, 20s, 30s, 40s. That age group.
Mhm.
It's really become this thing, and it is picking up fast momentum right now.
Well, it should. What are the health benefits of alcohol?
None.
Exactly. Zero.
Yeah.
There are no health benefits to alcohol.
Not one.
Any claims that they've made over the years, antioxidants and wine, good for your heart, all that stuff,
Yeah.
it doesn't outweigh the damage that's being done. Your brain and your heart take damage every time you drink alcohol, any amount of alcohol.
Yeah.
Can you drink alcohol and not die from it? Yeah. But should you? Well, I should. But like, can you drink it without taking damage? No.
Yeah.
Can you drink it without dying? Yes. Can it
It's-
be part of your life? Absolutely. But you got to. I mean, like anything. There's so many things. Like Tylenol damages your liver.
Right.
Okay, so you're not going to take Tylenol because it's going to damage your liver. You got to
Sure.
make that decision for yourself. Sugar. Every time you drink a soda, you're damaging your liver.
Yeah.
I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease diagnosis. I didn't drink alcohol, but I got my liver looked like I did. Why?
Interesting.
Processed foods, sugar, soda. I worked at Subway from time I was 17 off and on until I was 25 or so, 24 maybe, and I drank soda all day long every day for the better part of 5 years, 6
Wow.
years, and then
Wow.
by the time I'm 35, I got non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So is alcohol killing your liver? Absolutely it is. The sugar? Yes. So you got to weigh these things out and you got to balance it. If you enjoy drinking alcohol and you do it in a safe manner and you're not hurting anybody, it's not compulsive in your life, it's not impacting your work, your family obligations, it's not wearing you out financially, you're not getting arrested for it, you're not killing anybody.
Driving drunk,
Yeah.
whatever.
You're hurting yourself. Yes, you are hurting yourself, but so many things that we do hurt ourselves. So you got to take it all, use wisdom and balance it all out in your life. But is there any health benefits to drinking alcohol? No, there's zero. There are zero. If you can find anything, it's outweighed by the damage.
Check this out. Surgeon General in the new. I mean, it's my God, please. I encourage people, Google this if you're not familiar with this. You got to Google this. It's everywhere in the news about the Surgeon General putting on their labels that there is a link between alcohol consumption and cancer.
Right.
My knee jerk to this when I heard this was, oh, here we go again.
You did a spit take with your whiskey?
Kind of. But here we go again. There's another thing that the government is saying causes cancer.
You ever been to California?
Everything causes cancer. And I have never heard that there is a link between alcohol consumption and cancer. I've never heard that in my life. There's this new study out. Please, I encourage you to Google this, that more than 50% of Americans, not sure the exact percentage, I want to say 54% if I remember correctly. I heard the news on this. More than 50% of Americans are not aware that there's a link between alcohol consumption and cancer. 70% of Americans have at least one drink a day.
What? 70% have one drink a day?
Shit. It might be one a week. Damn it. I'm sorry. Did I say? All right. I think it's per week.
Either,
per week.
okay, still.
Per week.
All right, that's
Sorry.
That's not as intense.
Sorry.
One a day is intense.
Back that up. It's
But still,
per week.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Per
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
One drink per week.
Yeah. So a couple years ago, the standard, they were recommending no more than 2 drinks per day, no more than 14 in a 1 week period of time for adult men, and no more than 1 a day or 7 in a period a 1 week for women. That was the recommendation a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And that was considered like safe. But what I've seen since then, really, if you're going to use alcohol, and this goes for ice cream, this goes for soda, all these kind of things. If you're going to do something that heavily puts a toll on your liver, don't do that thing again for a few days. Give yourself at least a day. So that's one of the things I recommend people when I'm doing counseling with people with alcohol. If you like, some people meet with me and they want to abstain. Some people meet with me and they want to reduce. I don't, I support a person. What's your goal? Let's be healthy. I'm not like pro abstinence on everything. I think anything can be used in moderation and can be used in, as safe a way as possible. Obviously, alcohol is going to do damage to you every time, but like I'm saying, there's so many other things to do as well. Bag of potato chips, you eat a bag of chips, that's damaging to you as well. So you just want to be wise about it. But like, not consuming every day is a good place to start. Take a day off in between.
Yeah, here it is. Approximately 70% of Americans report consuming at least one alcoholic drink per week.
Yeah. I mean, one a week is, it's not bad. I mean, you probably do more damage to your body in the week with seed oils and sugars and all these fried oils and stuff like that.
You've said this to me so much. By the way, the source of that is the Alcohol Research Group and, of course, the Gallup poll.
No, they don't sound credible on this topic. Alcohol Research Group.
Well, that's what it says.
Jokes.
What it says.
I was gonna say something I forgot.
I'm just looking at some more stuff.
I think
too.
I don't remember being really aware of the link between alcohol and cancer until earlier in 2024. Because when you mentioned it to me a week or so ago, it was familiar to me, but it wasn't something like I've really delved into. But it's not something that's surprising to me in the least. Because I've been looking at this for years, and I know that alcohol is damaging, and I guess we haven't really talked about it collectively in the sense that it is a causal link with cancer, but you definitely liver cirrhosis and stuff like that. So that's usually the target when we talk about the damages from alcohol. But it doesn't surprise me at all that it's linked to cancer. And I've been talking about for years. I've been talking with clients like why is tobacco labeled with all these Surgeon General's warnings, and they got so that's the tobacco companies have to pay for that stuff. They pay for the anti-tobacco campaigns. Like the companies who are making the cigarettes are also making the commercials you see talking about how dangerous they are. That's part of the Congress. That was Congress's punishment to them or whatever when they had some kind of thing back in the 80s, and they said, you have to do this.
I've heard this.
Insane to me.
I've forgotten it, but I've heard this.
They make so much money that they
unreal.
can pay all of this money to say, do not use our product. They're not allowed to do advertisements they can't do pro-smoking commercials on TV, but they can do anti-smoking commercials on TV. But they're making enough money off this. It's so dangerous. So tobacco is, and 50 years ago, you had doctors, at least they were claiming doctors were saying smoking's tobacco, smoke a cigarette after dinner is good for your digestion, and all the propaganda about women should smoke, and because the companies back in the 20s or 30s, they didn't have enough women buying cigarettes, so they made a specific ad campaign to target women and bring that in, and so all that's going on, but alcohol is just as bad or worse than tobacco, and it's so prevalent. We could have beers in 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes probably. We're walking outdoor right now. Even at this time of day, I bet we can go, And so it's so prevalent. It's so out there. And all the damages are known. They've known all the destruction from this for years. But now suddenly the Surgeon General's getting on board with this? Why? Why now?
Saying.
Right?
Why now? It's like,
interesting.
This has been out for a long time, as you say.
What's more dangerous, heroin or alcohol? Like on a chemical structure level. You put heroin in your body, you put alcohol in your body. Which one's going to do more damage?
I'd much rather put alcohol in my body.
I'd rather put heroin in my body. I've never tried heroin specifically. Heroin is diacetylmorphine, so it's two acetyl chains. I don't know what that means necessarily, but that's it's in a chemical structure. In Europe, this is what I read in Johan Hari's book, Chasing the Scream. I think it's that book. He talks about this. He's in England. He's British. In England, they use diacetylmorphine in the hospital. In America, we use morphine. And it's basically the same chemical structure, but diacetylmorphine is heroin. So you break your leg in the UK, and they're going to probably give you heroin, but it's regulated, it's clean, it's safe, or whatever.
Wow.
And the same thing here with morphine, right? Our bodies produce it, endorphin, endogenous morphine from within the body, basically the same chemical structure. So this doesn't do damage to your body. Too much of it stops you from breathing. That'll do damage to your body. But the heroin itself, chemically speaking, and people can disagree and call me crazy and stuff like that. This is my My theory. It's just my opinion. We're allowed to say opinions here, right?
Whoa.
I don't know. I'm airing it out. But but you put alcohol in your body, it's going to kill cells. You put heroin in your body, it's not necessarily going to kill cells. You put it cut with something that will damage you, and then, okay, there's the damage. So the social damage from heroin is worse than the social damage from alcohol, maybe. It's comparable, probably. Whether you factor in DUIs and domestic violence and stuff like that, then maybe the damage is the same. But I think alcohol is by far more destructive in all kinds of ways, and yet we can buy that at the pharmacy.
Donna's saying to look up the stats. Breast cancer and alcohol consumption.
Yeah, it was linked. The HHS report on the Surgeon General stuff was like prostate cancer, breast cancer, liver cancer, throat. So vocal box cancer. It's all kinds of cancers, multiple cancers.
And Joe saying something that you and I have talked about within the last couple of weeks, saying need a conversation about food colorings and dyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, how they reword ingredients to misguided people. Most of the food in the U.S. is banned in most other countries. Yeah. We've talked about this.
Most, but a lot of it, yeah.
Joe's got to go back and catch a couple of. He needs to get caught up here on a couple of podcasts because we've been talking about this, and refined foods and refined sugars and ultra processed foods. And I had a doctor on couple of weeks ago talking about what it does to your body and how it creates inflammation. And you took a deep
inflammation
dive on
goes
that
to
too.
Cancer. Yeah, these things are all the same, or it all gets to the same bad state of health.
Yeah.
But one of the very interesting thing I saw about the processing of foods years ago, we got I think I mentioned this on here before when we had this conversation, but we got a wheat grinder and whole kernel wheat, and we're grinding it to make flour to make our own bread. And it had a DVD and was talking about recipes and whatever, but she showed when you buy bleached flour, white flour at the grocery store, it's basically a byproduct. It's the leftovers. They've already at that point they've taken the whole wheat kernel and they've taken out 9 other elements.
Yes.
Oils, fats, proteins, all these things. They've taken it all out, and what's left is the very least of this powder, and that's what they sell to you. And you break it down. So instead of selling you whole wheat powder, which is a little gritty and doesn't taste as good, but it's healthy.
Sure.
But you take all these components out, and now you're left with this leftover stuff. That stuff really can't be digested without the presence of those other things. That's why it comes in a complete package. This is the same thing with processed sugars. Wow. When you take cane sugar and you get down to that white refined table sugar stuff, you've taken out all these other elements, these minerals that are present with it. That's why raw honey and maple syrup are not as damaging to the body as refined sugar is, because it has those components with it. Those components. So when you eat table sugar, it then extracts nutrients from your body to digest it. It can't be digested without these certain minerals or vitamins. If you're not eating that sugar with those minerals and vitamins, it's pulling it from your body. So it's making you less. So it's like I like to call it an anti-nutrient. So your nutrient feeds your body, an anti-nutrient goes in your body and pulls things out with it.
Right.
In order to digest it. It's crazy.
It is crazy. I know you're going to fly here in a second, but the 1-2-3 rule: no more than 1 standard drink per hour, no more than 2 standard drinks per occasion, no more than 3 drinks a day. More than 3 constitutes binge drinking, according to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Thanks for coming in today, brother.
Sure, thank you.
I want to make sure you got an appointment.
Yeah.
Don't forget to get over to Wellness Wednesday today. Get some ear acupuncture. Get some mindfulness meditation. Get some Reiki. Do a chair or table massage. Make an appointment too. Just let them know you're coming. What time? 479-4055. It's the WellSpace Building, 23 Summer Street, right here in the Granite City. 479-4055. Starts at 4:30 this afternoon. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much for coming in here, buddy. I
love
really,
you and everybody.
I appreciate it, man. There's a lot of people that. How can people get in touch with you if they want to?
Paul at imaginemovingon.com.
One more time.
Paul at imaginemovingon.com is email.
Slow it down, Paul.
Oh my gosh!
I haven't had any goddamn coffee this morning. Paul,
you're going through withdrawals. You're feeling a little irritable.
Paul,
just relax.
At
Paul.
Yes.
That's my name. Paul.
Yes.
at
Slow down.
the at symbol shift 2 PAUL at no okay sorry PAUL shift 2 imaginemovingon.com. Imaginemovingon.com is my website.
All right.
I always talk fast and slur my speech. Or you can call me 802-622-1022. I don't want everybody to call me. Everybody's going to start calling me.
You're slurring your speech this morning?
I always do. I talk too fast. I get excited.
What'd you put in your orange juice?
I had green tea with apple cider vinegar and lemon juice because Dr. Berg on YouTube said that that's good for healing your liver.
Berg's, he's cool.
I love him.
He's cool.
But I think the caffeine is getting to me.
I haven't had a chance to talk to you about that. Can we save this for our next conversation?
No, we have to have it right now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we can save it. Yeah.
All right, buddy.
So go to imaginemovingon.com. If you want to talk to me, I'm happy to meet with people. So under my license, I'm doing it's strictly substance abuse disorder. Substance use disorder is what I can treat, diagnose, assess, and treat. Assess, diagnose, and treat because that's the order it happens in. But I'm opening up. I want to start doing single session counseling or advisory. I don't know. I think like life coaching or whatever. It's not psychotherapy. But just single session advice. I think I'm settling into spiritual health advisor. I'm gonna call it something like that. But there's a lot of research done into single session therapy in the past, and it's a really neat model. You can look it up. Manly P. Hall is someone that's talked about it. But it's interesting to address, to take a specific issue, sit down for an hour and a half, address it, and work through it. And there's some benefits there.
Oh my God, I love
something I want to try out. That's another thing I want to try out this year. Start doing that. But yeah, imaginemovingon.com.
All right.
You can find out how to contact me there.
And you're right here.
Blanchard Building.
Blanchard Block.
Historic Blanchard Building.
Amazing.
Beautiful, historic Blanchard Building. Been there for 8 years. It's an awesome building.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Love you. Over and out.
Peace.
Let's go.